Okay, today I want to look at the sternum. The sternum is a flat bone resulting from the fusion of three bones, the manubrium, the body, and the xiphoid process. This bone is part of the bony thorax, which is also part of the subset of the skeleton we call the axial skeleton. The sternum is made up of three bones, the manubrium, the body, and the xiphoid process. The sternum is a flat bone that resembles a dagger. Manubrium actually means handle of a dagger. The body would be the blade, and here is the xiphoid process. We'll talk about each of these in turn. Here are the parts of the sternum labeled for you: the manubrium, the body, and the xiphoid process. Okay, the manubrium articulates with two types of bones. The first one I want to look at are the clavicular notches here and here. You can't see this one quite as well as you can see this one. This is where the manubrium articulates with the clavicle, which is commonly called the collarbone. Okay, and here we can see these clavicular notches outlined with lines. The manubrium also articulates with the first and second pair of ribs laterally. Here is the first pair, and it's articulating there with the costal cartilage. And then right down here, this is your second pair of true ribs, and you can see some articulation there. Here I have outlined where the first pair of ribs articulate and the second pair of ribs articulate. Another important anatomical landmark of the manubrium is the jugular notch, and we don't see the notch really clearly here. It's right here. The jugular notch also is called the suprasternal notch, and it's this indentation on the superior part of the manubrium. This notch is generally in line with where the left common carotid artery issues from the aorta. Another important anatomical landmark is the sternal angle. It's a little horizontal line. It's a cartilaginous joint that joins the manubrium to the body of the sternum. This joint works as a hinge, allowing the body to swing anteriorly or outward when the body inhales. Here is where you would find the sternal angle. I have outlined it for you. Okay, now let's look at the body of the sternum. The body, or blade, goes from the xiphoid process in the bottom up to the manubrium at the top. And the body articulates with the second through the seventh set of ribs. Here's the second pair, the third pair, fourth pair, fifth pair, sixth pair, and seventh pair of ribs. Okay, here I have actually outlined the second through seventh pair of ribs that articulate with the body of the sternum. Here is the second pair, the third pair, the fourth pair, the fifth pair, the sixth pair, and the seventh pair. Now let's look at the joint between the body of the sternum and the xiphoid process of the sternum. It occurs right here. It is called the xiphosternal joint. The heart lies behind this joint, lying on the diaphragm. And here is the xiphosternal joint showing, I've drawn a line here to show where the cartilage would be there. Eventually that fuses together as you approach adulthood. The last bone of the sternum we want to look at is this xiphoid process. The xiphoid process is originally a plate of hyaline cartilage, but by the time you're 40, it's completely ossified. It serves as an attachment point for some muscles in your abdominal region. It articulates only with the body of the sternum, and it actually means literally sword-like. Xiphoid means sword-like. Specifically, the xiphoid process serves as the insertion for the rectus abdominis muscles. Okay, a quick review. We have three bones in the sternum: the manubrium, the body, and the xiphoid process. Three anatomical landmarks which are important: the jugular notch up here, the horizontal ridge and the xiphosternal joint. We also have the clavicular notches on the side here, which articulate with the clavicles. The manubrium also articulates with the first two pair of true ribs. The body articulates with pairs 2 through 7, and the xiphoid process serves as the insertion for the rectus abdominis.